Am I the asshole for reporting my neighbors? I've 26F been living in this same apartment complex for about 5 years now. In the 5 years I've lived here I haven't had any issues with any of my neighbors until recently. A year ago a new couple moved in. Things started off rocky because they chose to move in at 12 a.m. on a weekday. Everyone in the apartment asked them to be quieter as they moved, but throughout the week they were super loud. More time passed and the noise didn't stop. The guy stomps around, and the woman is constantly slamming drawers and screaming. They run the laundry past 2 a.m. Eventually, I asked them to be quieter. The apartment's quiet hours are from 10 p.m. 8 a.m. I get laundry goes a little long, but 2 a.m. I also asked that they be more courteous about their pets. It wasn't fair that neighbors had to listen to their dogs howl and cats scream well past 1 a.m. The guy immediately became defensive and said they're animals and can't help it. He works early and has to have his uniform clean. He went on about how he was a veteran and needed his animals. I told him because they were so loud I knew that they were home around 6 p.m. If they run the laundry around then they could easily do 2 loads that would finish around 11. I also told him I get the pets help him, but he could train them to be better behaved. I also get up early, so having his pets act up and his laundry going past 12 was very disruptive. Suffice to say, we don't get along. Recently, there's been this loud sound, like an old engine or a generator. It starts around 11 and goes through the night. I slept in the living room for a while and figured it would stop soon. I was wrong. I went up to ask them about the sound, but the woman smirked and called her partner over. He told me he purchased an AC and would not be turning it off. I said that was fine, but maybe he could move it or place something under it to muffle it. He slammed the door in my face, so I reported it to the property manager. Apparently this was the 5th complaint they had since moving in, so they were fined $500. Since then they made a point to tell me I have put them under insane financial strain. I feel bad, but I tried to talk to them. Should I feel bad? Am I the asshole? Edits. 1. It's definitely not just the AC, laundry, pets. There was a character restriction when I posted, but they've gotten complaints for leaving trash in the stairwell for weeks, not cleaning after their pets, hosting parties during the week for reasons unknown to the other residents, etc. I tried to post the complaints more related to the issue I filed the complaint on. 2. Yes, there are daily living sounds, but this complex has certain mechanisms built in to mitigate this. An example is the cabinetry. They have a springy thing that prevents them from being slammed, and little pads at the corners to muffle sound. For someone to slam the drawers hard enough for the sound to be audible despite these mechanisms is insane. 3. I guess also for reference, I've lived in apartments most of my life. Having grown up overseas, it's quite common for families to live in high-rises. I'm not sure if it's unique to certain cultures, but I feel like it's just common courtesy to adhere to certain rules, especially if more than one person has voiced concern. Not the asshole. Yes, $500 will likely have a significant impact. Hopefully, it also has a significant impact on their noise level. You tried to speak with them but they declined to engage with you. That was their choice, essentially let the management company handle it. And they did just that. Finally, you didn't impose the fine. Nor did you know that was their 5th complaint. Nor was your complaint made in bad faith. NTA. If you're the 5th complaint they've upset a lot of people. You shouldn't feel bad. Not the asshole. Please complain 5 more times. Maybe they will miss the rent and get evicted. But seriously. It sounds like they have no respect for others. Kudos to management for doing something about it. Not the asshole. Tell them to alleviate their insane financial strain by selling the AC for $500. Not the asshole. I would file a complaint every time they pissed me off. Not the asshole. They chose to live in a multi-family dwelling. They have to respect the ordinances put in place. Everyone has the right to peaceful living. If this was their 5th warning, they have no one to blame but themselves. It's not your fault they are under financial stress. It's not your fault they are asshats and choose to live somewhere where lots of people live. They have no respect for anyone. Report every negative interaction. You're in the clear. Not the asshole. You made one reasonable complaint after a long history of them being uncooperative and poor neighbors. If anything, you were pretty lenient considering their rudeness. The fact that they got a $500 fine is entirely on them. They have pissed off multiple other people and seemingly at no point made any attempt to alter the behaviors creating these complaints. If you hadn't complained, someone else was almost certainly going to be complaining sometime soon anyway. Not the asshole. Do not rescind your complaint. Has the noise gotten any better? Not the asshole, and you should set your phone on vibrate and tape it to the ceiling. Ask a friend to send you texts all night. One night of fun for you, a deliciously annoying night for them. Not the asshole, and keep reporting them if they don't start following the rules. People like this should not live in apartments. Not the asshole. You reap what you sow. Wait, you put them under insane financial strain? Not their own actions? Ugh, the nerve of some people. Not the asshole, obviously. Not the asshole. Yeez, I would have reported them way earlier than you. Not the asshole. Them getting a fine is their own fault. If they didn't want to have to pay one, they shouldn't have been so inconsiderate to literally everyone around them. I read your comment about them wanting you to rescind your complaint so they don't have to pay. Do not do it. Actions have consequences, they need to face that. If they're in such financial strain, why did they buy the damn AC unit in the first place? Not the asshole. Honestly, it sounds like you need earplugs to sleep. Expecting your neighbors to be in bed by your bedtime and not doing normal things in their own apartment is unreasonable. If you can hear the washer and dryer, that acutely your place is just poorly constructed. Lecturing them on when you think they should do laundry is out of line. Window AC units just aren't that loud. Even old ones. Again, this is more fault with the construction of the place than anything. Not the asshole. If they have 5 complaints, it most likely means that you are not overreacting, and they probably know that they are being a nuisance to multiple people. You tried talking to them and they were rude. Your suggestions are not ridiculous, so they could have easily accommodated. They're not the only people that live there, and they should start acting like it. No. Do not feel bad. They're inconsiderate assholes. Being a veteran is not a free pass to be a shitbird to your community and neighbors. Not the asshole op. Can you ask your apartment building if you can move into a unit further away? They're definitely bad neighbors, but that's what happens in apartment complexes. If someone told me when I could or couldn't do laundry, or what I can't do to accommodate their schedule, one would tell them to take a hike too. Ultimately, the fine is from the complex and not you, so that's not on you. Not the asshole. They were fined because they are inconsiderate to everyone else in the building. It sounds like there were 4 other people who complained. Remember that. And there were likely others who didn't voice their complaints. If they give more crap, point out they should use the fine as a lesson, and that they probably want more lessons in the future, so they better keep it down. Not the asshole. If your apartment has quiet hours, I would report them, within reason, every time they break them. It's the only way management will know there is an issue. Info. You can't sleep through a washing machine or dryer running in another apartment? Seems kind of weird to me. Not the asshole. Why is their cat making noise? I've had lots of cats and none of them make noise that a neighbor could hear. The only cats that I've ever known that are noisy are unspayed cats in heat. They need to treat their cat better. And considering how inconsiderate they are to their neighbors, you don't even know if this is a financial hardship on them. They could just be lying. Or perhaps they are upset because they were $500 away from being able to afford a motorcycle without a muffler. I lived in a place where in your first complaint you got a warning, in the second you got a fine. They had 4 warnings. You are totally not the asshole. Info. Are the walls of your complex made of cardboard? Why do you care so much when someone does laundry or if they have a window shaker? That's normal apartment noise. They even offered to put something under the AC. It almost sounds like they moved in late one night. Yes, rude, and you never let it go. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They played the stupid games. They won the stupid prizes. Not the asshole. Your complaint is valid. They have been acting like Oz. They need consequences. If this is the 5th complaint, then it's not just you who's been impacted, annoyed by their behavior. You've tried the civil route by speaking politely to them and asking them to keep the noise down. When that doesn't work, you move up the chain. If they didn't want the fine, they should have paid attention to and acted upon any of the previous complaints. It's not your fault they've been fined. It's theirs. Not the asshole. You didn't cause them to lose $500, their own behavior did. If they weren't so inconsiderate, then they wouldn't already have another 4 complaints notched against them. Stick to your guns. Keep a noise diary and keep complaining. Not the asshole. The only thing I'm kinda like about is the laundry, because I'm always running my washing machine at like 2 a.m. Water is a lot cheaper at night. Tears of joy, but everything else no way. They're intentionally being assholes. Not the asshole. You're not the asshole. Your neighbors are. Maybe the fine for their 5th complaint will teach them a lesson. Or maybe getting evicted will. This is a consequence of their actions. The sooner they learn, the better for them and everyone around them. If you retract your complaint, all they'll learn is they can bully you. I'm concerned about their poor pets though. What on earth are they doing to make them howl and scream? Not the asshole. 10 times over. Not the asshole keep complaining until they get evicted. Nice apartments come with responsibility, and if they are purposefully disruptive they need to leave. Not the asshole. I lived in a flat underneath a guy who started growing hydroponic weed. The system also only got put on at 11 p.m. at night and would run until 06:00 and made a loud humming sound that vibrated through my walls all night long. They'd also stomp around all hours and managed to also blew up their boiler, I suspect because of the taps being open but having a pressure valve on it. I only lasted 2 months in that flat. Not the asshole. They don't care about waking up their neighbors all the time. 5 complaints is a lot, because most people only start complaining if you really make them. They should have known that this could happen, but instead thought they could solve it by being rude and selfish. How people reason like that is beyond me, but far too many do. Their fault, their problem. They put themselves under financial strain buying an AC. Those bastards aren't cheap. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Maybe he shouldn't slam doors in people's faces if he doesn't like getting complaints. The wife smirking when you asked about the noise is all the information you need. They're intentionally messing with you. Not the asshole. If you speed and are caught you get a speeding ticket. If you park without feeding the meter you get a parking ticket. If you rob a bank, you go to jail. There are consequences to stupid shish. People do. You can't inconvenience everyone around you. Knowing the rules and blame others when you get reprimanded. There are 4 other people who complained. Don't feel bad. Not the asshole, and if they keep making noise at night, report them again. Know you deserve a good night's sleep. Not the asshole. Well, if it isn't the consequences of their own actions coming back to bite them on the ass. They deserved that fine for thinking that they are so special. They're not. Not the asshole, although if it had just been the AC I would have voted the other way. Air conditioning should not be loud enough to complain over. The other things certainly are. Not the asshole, they suck. Reminds me of my most recent downstairs neighbor playing music from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. from his ceiling speakers, i.e. my floor, and refusing to turn it off. If you talked to him he'd either feign regret, turn off the music and then turn it back on once you left, or tell you to fuck off. He got evicted in part from everyone in the building reporting him, and I don't feel bad. You also shouldn't feel bad. These people suck and they know it. Hopefully the fine teaches them that there are consequences and they stop rather than go to war. Not the asshole. You tried to reason with them multiple times, and they went out their way to keep disturbing you and your neighbors. In my books, the logical next course of action would be to put in a formal complaint. All they had to do was behave like adults and treat others with basic respect. They choose to act like children and had to suffer the consequences. They not only shot themselves in the foot, but they did it right after they were told to put the loaded gun down. Not the asshole. I used to work second shift so I wouldn't get home till 1 a.m. I still found ways to keep the sound down. If they want to act like they own the place, they have to pay for the privilege. What type of place do you live where a simple air conditioner and laundry machines are so loud? Especially from another unit? I could easily sleep through our laundry running, and the air conditioner, too. Not the asshole. Since then they made a point to tell me I have put them under insane financial strain. No, you didn't. Their actions put them under insane financial strain. And while there is a certain level of give when it comes to noise in apartment living, you can't keep the neighbors up like that. Constant howling and barking is not reasonable noise. Slamming cupboards and drawers at all hours is not reasonable noise. Yelling and hollering is not reasonable noise. And going out of one's way to intentionally be a complete and total flapdoodle to the neighbors that just want to quietly live their best life is not appropriate apartment etiquette. And frankly, they should be glad it was a fine and not in termination of their housing agreement. Not the asshole. You tried talking to them multiple times before you reported them, on top of you didn't know you were the 5th complaint. They're just incredibly rude people that have zero respect for their neighbors. Hope they move out soon for you and your neighbors' sake. So I don't think you need to rescind a noise complaint. If it's that bad, it's bad. But I'm also questioning your complex. You can hear their AC and laundry? That seems a little crazy. Also, the management told them you made the complaint? To me it seems like you're in a shitty complex more than you have shorty neighbors.